Hello everyone, welcome back to ESI Digest. I'm your host Adam Fitch, and as always on this series I'm going to take you through what's happened in the past week of esports business and explain why things matter. So I just want to say I announced not long ago, earlier this week at the time of recording, that I'd actually be departing Esports Insider midway through October. I believe this series will continue as well as ESI Focus and ESI Insight, so please do stay tuned as things switch over. I'm sure they'll only get better, to be honest with you. I'm not the best host, but thank you to everybody who stayed with me. I'll be doing a few more episodes of these before I'm gone. My official end date is October 16th, but thank you everybody who reads and watches and listens to what we put out under I kind of guess my reign as editor. Exciting times coming up for ESI, I'm sure. So we'll get into what's happened in the past week, and first off, I'd be remiss to not mention Mercedes-Benz getting involved with League of Legends Esports. So that's all of the kind of global events as part of the League of Legends calendar, which is MSI, the Mid-Season Invitational, the All-Star event, and then like the crown jewel basically of esports at this point, the League of Legends World Championship, which actually kicked off today at the time of recording. So we've got we had Audi with Origin and Kia with Rogue and the LEC, and now we've got Mercedes-Benz as a global partner, and Mercedes is involved elsewhere as well with like ESL and such, but this is probably its biggest kind of deal to date, I'd imagine, especially if it's a multi-year deal that's not known. But so it will serve as the exclusive automotive partner and like a presenting sponsor of the trophy ceremony. So as you know, with COVID and stuff, like the events kind of, it's not going to be at its best. It's not going to be the spectacle that you expect from Worlds now, with all the AR stuff that they do with the dragons and the performance with True Damage last year. So they're bringing in the big dogs, Mercedes-Benz, and now I think they've got something like 10 or 11 global partners. Like Naz, the partnership legend herself at League of Legends on a global basis, has done a great job, and I just want to highlight that realistically because of like Spotify and Bose recently as well, like really cool deals, and this is just another one to add on to that, and it is the final one they're announcing for this year, at least prior to Worlds. We may get some more later on, but it seems like people would want to get involved now. So next is the Ukrainian Professional Esports Association releasing a 5-year strategy, a 5-year plan for esports in Ukraine. So the actual association was announced not too long ago, I believe, and basically, the association's been around for a while, but esports got like official sports status in the country. That's the recent news, sorry. But the association plans to attract $100 million, which is roughly 79 million pounds of investments. $42 million worth has already been made actually towards the purchase and development of an esports ready hotel, which we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, Kingwin's kind of got its own kind of thing going on with its esports performance centres. I actually went and visited one and stayed in one last year, which is really cool, specifically for teams and such. So this will be interesting to see how they actually execute it. And another $20 million will go towards investing in like the reconstruction of the hotel, so a very expensive thing there, and they're putting a lot of their resources and money into it. And if you want to get a real understanding of the 5-year plan, then I recommend going on the website and reading the full article, because there's way too much for me to recap in a short episode, And next up we've got Top Dawg, as he's commonly known, but Anthony Tiffith, who is the founder of Dawg Entertainment, which is an independent record label behind some of the biggest artists, not only in hip-hop and R&B, I guess, but in the world, really, realistically, because that's like one of the predominant genres. So you've got like Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, like SZA, like I won't go into everybody on the label, because it had a core for a core of like 4 artists. I was trying to be fancy with that, and they expanded in recent times. But basically, he's invested in ReKTGlobal, which is the company that owns and operates Rogue in the LEC, and outside of the LEC, the London Royal Ravens franchise in Call of Duty, and then a bunch of kind of complementary and supplementary things as well, like an agency, I think, as Fearless Media and Greenlit Content and Fullcube. So ReKTGlobal is trying to create an ecosystem around the teams, presumably because like operating teams is not actually profitable at this point for most, unless you're massively in the influencer, streaming, content creation side. But nonetheless, he's invested in them alongside a bunch of other celebrities, which seems to be how ReKTGlobal is doing things. Instead of getting the VCs with huge money behind them and getting them involved, they're actually going for like the celebrity, somewhat ambassador route. So you'll see like Nicky Romero and as Steve Aoki, of course, and I don't want to get into everyone, but as like part of Imagine Dragons and stuff as well. This guy right here, Top Dawg, very well respected in his industry, in the music industry, and especially in his corner in like rap and hip hop and R&B, like very big deal. So this presumably will present some kind of crossover opportunities, whether it's just like, okay, Rogue players and London Royal Ravens players can, use Kendrick Lamar's music in streams or something, with all the DMCA stuff going on. That's a bit tricky. So that could be a potential thing there. Though, of course, the deal's not exclusively with Dawg Entertainment. It's actually with the founder. So it'd be interesting to see if there is any of that kind of crossover there or not, or whether he's just putting his money in and they want to, use his name for a bit more PR and legitimacy outside of esports and more in music, which wouldn't surprise me too much, to be honest with you. And then the fourth out of the 5 stories I'm covering this week is Riot Games unveiling First Strike, which is its first official like self-ran tournament for VALORANT. Obviously, the big shooter that it put out to kind of rival CSGO. So at the beginning of VALORANT, and I guess VALORANT Esports, because that followed very quickly on, were people signing players even before the game launched out of beta. Riot Games said, look, we're not going to control things, we're going to let the community dictate where this goes. And then not long into it, it unveiled the Ignition series, which was basically we're going to pick who we partner with, whether it's a team or a tournament organizer, kind of dictate how things go, the teams involved and such, So was involved, but wasn't necessarily running it itself if you look at it on a technical basis. Now, this will be the first like literal tournament that is claiming ownership over fully in terms of operating and running and probably reaping the benefits from as well. So it'll take place at the end of the year, I think like November, but it's going to be regional tournaments. It'll cover North America, Europe, the CIS region, Turkey, Asia, Oceania, Brazil, Middle East, and I think Latin America as well, South America. So they'll each have their own online events, and instead of having a grand finalist, so instead of it being like a world championship, instead there'll be a champion of each region. So if you want to learn more about that and why they're deciding now is the time to actually hermetically seal the scene, or so it seems. We don't know what's going to come after this, but why they're deciding to step in and take control now, then of course go check out the full article on the website again. And the last story that I want to touch on, won't go too much into it, but Fnatic, London-based organisation, but kind of global in its aspirations and reach now, has appointed a new chairman and 2 additional leadership hires as well. So Lucien Boyer, the former CMO of Vivendi, and Havas Sports and Entertainment as well. Sorry, he was the global president and CEO there. He's now the chairman of Fnatic, taking the reins over from Nick Fry, who's going to remain as an advisor. And then also, they've hired a head of talent management and an interim partnerships director as well. So if you want to learn more about them, you know where to go. Go check out their website. But that's everything from me. Again, there's a few more episodes with myself. Feel free to request stories throughout the week if you'd like kind of my take on it. Just short and sweet, of course. I'm not going to really do deep dives into anything, but I hope this helps help you stay up to date with everything that goes on, especially if you work yourself and then trying to stay on top of everything that's happening in an industry that's supposedly thriving during these times, then it can be difficult, and that's the whole purpose of ESI Digest. Go follow ESI on all the social media channels to stay up to date as well, and I'll see you next week for another episode of ESI Digest. Cheers for your time.